to Hot Topics. So, okay, welcome to Hot Topics. I'm Loretta. So, Electra, my mom, and Miss Jackie, her friend, they're giving me, I get the honor of just getting it started off tonight. But I did ask if I could just talk a little bit on tonight about when the impossible becomes possible. I want to just share, and the only reason why I'm sharing this is because it's a part of the reason why I wanted to talk about this topic. I went to college, I got a bachelor's degree, I got married, I had a child, but I got married, we had a family, I got a master's degree, I got a job in the midst of all of this, within the years, I got a job working for the government, and I made it to management. That was my goal at the time. Okay, so I made it to management. And Miracle, close my door. I made it to management. And at the time, that was a big to do. For me, that was something that was, I'm not going to say impossible, but it was something that I knew would take hard work and I knew it would take time. But in hindsight, it didn't take as much time as I thought it would, right? So fast forward a few years past, I'm thinking, I'm on a really good track because this is the American dream, and then I get sick in 2016. It was February 2016. And first thing was, I just was very tired all the time. And then I would be weak, but I was the person who would always, I never really got sick. Maybe a cold every now and then, but I didn't, I wasn't like a sickly child. I didn't get sick a lot. And so I really didn't know what was going on, what was wrong. And I remember very clearly, I went to choir practice one day. And my friend, this is I consider to be a friend of mine, but she passed away now. And she said, asked me, what's wrong with you? She said, was telling me I'm not focused. She didn't mean any harm, but she was like, you're not focused. You need to get some rest. She was just saying a lot of different things. And I just kept saying, I don't know. I do get rest. I don't know why I'm so tired. I just don't feel like it. I just started saying and doing a lot of things that in my mind, it made me feel like I was being lazy, but I couldn't understand, dang, why, I just feel so lazy. And this all led to me eventually having to leave my job. Well, when I had to leave, because I had to choose, one thing people don't really realize, the more money you make, the more responsibility that you have, the more stress that you have, the more people and the more things you are responsible for. And all of that was just triggering my condition. I have a condition called myasthenia gravis, but that's not what this is about. So it's an autoimmune disease. And of course, we may or may not know, but that's your body fighting against its own self, right? And stress is just a trigger. And I'm trying to figure out, why do I keep getting worse? I'm doing what the doctor says. I'm taking my treatments. I'm taking my medicine daily. I'm trying to take a nap when I get home. I feel like I'm doing right, everything right. So I ended up having to leave my job. Well, maybe about 2 years before that happened, before I resigned from my job, I went to, it was Atlanta, and I went to this spa, and I got a massage, and I did. I think I got a massage. I got something else, but I got something called a yoni steam. And when I came back home, I was telling a friend of mine how I just really enjoyed it. And so she was telling me that she does those at her spa. And I was like, man, I would really love to learn to do that. So she said, well, come over. She was like, I don't mind, I'll teach you. So without going through the long drawn out story, that right there was the beginning of, and it's mind you, this 2 years ago, before I was even much I wasn't even thinking about nothing but my job. I enjoyed it so much. I was like, I want to get one for me at my house because we had an extra room at the time. I want to put me one of those Yoni Sting chairs in there for me, for myself. I was like, I'm gonna journal and sit on my Yoni Sting chair. I'm gonna do it once every week. And then while I was there, it was a blanket, a sauna blanket, and I was like, oh, dang, that might be nice. So I ended up getting that. I got a table for it, I got a blanket, and I put that in my room upstairs. So I went to go and get my hair done one day to get my hair twisted. And the person who was twisting my hair at the time, she said, I was telling her about my little room that I had set up upstairs in my house. I'm still excited about it, right? So I'm telling her about it. And she said, girl, you can make money off of that. And I was like, oh, I ain't worried about that. I just like doing it, you know? And she said, well, I got an empty room here. And she was like, you can, if you want to rent it out, you can, and people will pay. So I did that, and I really didn't make no money, but I just really enjoyed doing it. But I really lost more than I gained as far as finances. But as it pertains to the knowledge I gained and the experience, I made so many mistakes and I learned from them. I learned from them. So that's the first thing. We don't just go through things. We literally grow through things. So I caught COVID, and I was not able to go there for like almost a whole month. I wasn't able. And mind you, I got COVID on top of already having a very weak immune system. So as it turned out, I wasn't able to stay there. I had to, my boys, they went and got my boys and one of my best friends, they went and got all my things out of the shop that was in Houston and put it in my garage, right? So I was like, you know what? I started taking these little classes, just things that I was interested in. So I took a class for waxing, and I really enjoyed it. I kind of like fell in love with it. And all of these things that I'm saying, they, in my mind, I'm like, oh, this kind of all a part of a spa. I think I really like this. I want to do it for other people. So we're going to fast forward a few months. And I was talking to somebody, or no, I was listening to somebody else's conversation they call ear hustling. And I was listening to them, and somebody said something about an esthetician. And I said, well, I wonder what that is. So then I found out, I think I talked to my mom, and she was like, well, we got that program here at College of the Mainland. So I signed up for the program. In the meantime, I've switched from one office, which is like 30 miles each way, I couldn't do it anymore, to an office that's closer. That was, see, now think of everything I'm saying. God steadily working it out, steady putting it all into play. But I'm not even thinking of none of this. I'm just doing things. I'm just, you grow older, you start being attracted to things that you truly enjoy. So even if you didn't make money off of it, would you still do it? All of these things I would, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. So I signed up for the class, and I find out, this is when I was still at the old office that I was in. I found out, well, I'm not going to be able to take the class because it's no way I'm going to make it on time because I have to drive so far. And then, they wouldn't work with my schedule or whatever. So, but I ended up getting transferred closer to home. And I want to say this was maybe 2 weeks before class was started. So now I can take my class. I was already on a waiting list for a year. I left that part out. So when it came, the year passed, and it came about to where I was able to register for the class. I had made it down further enough on the wait list. So I registered for the class now, but God steadily working it out. mind you, I'm not thinking this is God working it out. All I'm thinking is I'm constantly losing things because I ended up having to resign from my job that I felt like I worked so hard for. I had to end up resigning from my job that I felt like was my retirement plan. I had to end up resigning from this job that I felt like was providing. But God showed me, to this day, I have not gone without anything. And you know how people say my right hand to the man, I have not gone without anything. And I'm gonna be so bold as to say this, my life is better. I left a job where my salary was 6 figures. I would have grown up, I would have never thought would make that much money. But now I know I'm gonna make more, and I'm gonna do it helping other people, making other people feel good about themselves, fixing people. I'm gonna be so people might not believe it, but I know it's true. I'm gonna be so cold in the skin, correct the skincare game. I'm gonna correct people's skin. And I'm gonna be so good at it and so skilled. I'm gonna teach other people, but you're not gonna be able to deny me. You're not gonna be able to deny my skill and my ability to, and this is what I think in my mind, I'm gonna give people filter-free selfies. You're not gonna even need filters. And that's what I know I'm gonna do. So I work closer. So now I'm able to take the class, but I'm also my health is getting worse and worse. Constantly having to miss work, constantly having to go to the doctor, I don't got no more sick time. I didn't use out my vacation time, but my body is getting worse. And I had to just, I had to give it up. Well, when I stopped working, the one thing I still had was school. I still had that to, hold on to. When you are used to being so independent and just not having to depend on other people for the little things. See, when you are in good health, you don't realize that it's a blessing to get up and pick your own phone up and dial a number. It's a blessing to pick up a bottle of water, open it, take a drink, put it down. It's a blessing to breathe on your own. We don't realize that. You don't get it. And I remember this when I was in the hospital. It was years ago when they first found out what was wrong with me. My husband, and he always got jokes, but I was trying to brush my teeth, but they had to do like some physical therapy. They didn't have to, it wasn't my whole body, but it was just like some body parts. So I couldn't pick up my toothbrush and brush my teeth. My body was weak. I have nerve problems, like the nerve endings. I couldn't do it. And my husband said, I'll brush your teeth for you. And I was like, no, I had tears and I was just like, no, I can do it. I tried to do it, but I couldn't do it. So now I get up in the morning, I brush my teeth and everything, but I always think about that. I had to learn to brush my teeth. I had to gain the strength back to brush my teeth. But I take so many things for granted when I know you, girl, you taking things for granted, or you getting so upset about things, but God is constantly blessing you. So I finished school. I passed both of the tests that I needed to pass. So I got my license. In the meantime, I had moved into another shop. Now this is how God works. Where that first shop I was in, I was paying $200 a week. I was paying $200 a week. Well, when I ended up where I'm at now, I paid $324 for a month. So all of that happened to me in my life. All of that happened within the past few years. This is from everything I just said was 2016 to now. Okay. It sounds like, oh, that's just a lot. And it was. It was. For me to say it verbally, I kind of like, dang, girl, dang, you strong, I am. I realize I am, because you went from not even being able to brush your teeth, not being able to pick up your phone, you need help breathing. You conquered all of those things. And one thing that I'm very grateful for, which I always love to go to the gym, I love to work out, but I couldn't do it. For a few years, I couldn't. And so I'm able to do it now. And that's another thing that I'm very grateful for. So in the meantime, when I went to this second place, which I'm still at, it was less than half the price and everything. So not only God, he took a few things away from me, and I want to point this out. So this is my first point. So I really just wanted to give that background, because I don't want nobody to think, oh, she's just saying that. I'm really not. I'm really grateful for, and I use that word a lot, but that's because it's true. We really take for granted everything. I was completely healthy, and then all of a sudden I can't see, somebody got to do everything for me. Somebody got to take me everywhere. Not only physically is that taxing, mentally, it's hard. It's very hard. But now I'm going to get to, so that was the backstory. So let me say why I wanted to talk about when the impossible becomes possible. Because with all of that, I would have never thought, and I'm in a good place right now. I don't do things that will set me back, especially in my health, because I fought so hard to get to where I'm at in my health, like to a stable place. But so how I felt like I did the right thing. I went to college. I got married. I did this. I got a job. I felt like I did the right thing. Well, who says that's the right thing? So the first point is when the impossible becomes possible, first and foremost, I'm putting all my hopes and dreams in this one thing, which is this job. And God is telling me constantly, that job was never your provider. Actually, you were never your provider. I have always been, and always will be your provider. That's the first thing. And that's the main reason why the impossible is always possible. And the second thing is, every single thing, and I mean good things, every single thing that I did, these things that made me happy, these things that brought me joy for free, that I would do for free. This is what I'm doing now. But this is how God is sending income my way. And I only do things that I enjoy. I would have never thought that. When my daughter has things at school, I can go. I don't have to try to find somebody to go, or just got to get permission to go get my daughter. And I don't have to do those things. That's another thing. God set that up. So from that trip to Atlanta, taking that first training, all these things that I never even thought would lead to today, that was God working it out. That he was putting that into play, because it was going to all be useful today and in the future. And the third thing is, because I always had so much trouble with my own skin, I just always have, and it's nothing like sad, but because I did, God knew it way back then. I understand people who have problems with it. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about it. I know I'm going to help so many people. Now, if you have what we call normal skin, you're blessed. If you don't, they have, I'm not a dermatologist, I'm a licensed esthetician. And one of the things that we know is, if we cannot help you, we know this by doing the skin analysis. We know this by asking you certain questions. we refer you, not send you, but we will tell you, you have to see a dermatologist. So I'm not trying to say this the end all and be all, but within my realm, what I can do, that's what I'm going to do. But I know that I'm going to do that because it was all a part. Everything that happened to me in life, everything that's happened to me since 2016. And it's the first time I can talk about this freely like this, because when I passed my test, and I mean, everything just started falling into place. So even though it seemed like, because I'm not gonna lie, I was distraught. I couldn't understand how my life just changed like that. Like that. In the blink of an eye, your life can change and you don't realize it. So we have to be very grateful for everything. And when things start falling apart, I have to even tell myself this. A lot of times, even going through all of that, I still have to tell myself, you know what, Retta, just calm down and just try to think. And I really have to think on it. Sometimes, I'm human. And I'm not gonna say sometimes, a lot of times I call my mom, I'm crying, I'm just, but God always put people in our lives. Well, he puts who we need in our lives if we let him. But I just wanted to talk about that. And anybody who may be feeling like everything is just going wrong, I can say for a fact, we may be thinking it's going wrong, but God has got everything working out in our favor. Everything works out in my favor, even if I don't see it. And just all those things I just spoke about, I don't know if you can just add them up, but if you go back and listen after today, you will see there was God working everything out to the point to now. Things that happened way back then that I went through, or things that happened, a few years ago that I learned, I would have never thought that I was going to have a complete change from corporate America to now. And this is how I know it's not always about, I wasn't, the happiest Retta when I was making all that money, and I always wanted a Mercedes. I had a Mercedes and everything, and I'm not even gonna lie, I gladly gave it away, gave it back. And you know why? Because I wasn't gonna stress myself or my husband, because I know my husband, he'll be trying to make a way for me to keep it. Because I know when I do get whatever else I'm gonna get, I already know things are gonna be so different, and it's not gonna be no kind of stress with it. It's not. I put so much into making money. I missed one of my son's entire basketball seasons because my boss won't let me off. I can't leave. I gotta work late, all of this stuff. But now that I'm where I'm at now, all that money is gone. And I ain't even gonna get on, when you make all that money, you in a whole different tax bracket. But we ain't gonna go there. But I just wanted to, I really appreciate y'all for giving me this time. I really wanted to, I don't know why, I just wanted to share that, because I really haven't shared it just in detail like that. And I really haven't shared it with a lot of people, but that's just been my journey. And it's led me to here. So, and I didn't even mention it. I do have a spa. I'm a licensed esthetician. I do facials. This is gonna be my first time doing chemical peels. I'm excited, and I've just learned so much, and I just make sure I get the best quality of everything. But it's Peace Palace. It's in League City, 17,000 El Camino Real, and it's Suite 103B. You can always give me a call or text if you have any questions. 832-820-3663. So I'm on Facebook, it's Peace Palace. On Instagram, it's Peace Palace Queen. I really thank y'all. I really thank y'all for letting me just go through this whole journey. I'm very excited for what for what the future holds. And again, I thought that when everything started going wrong, I just thought that it was over. I kept saying, I lost everything. I don't have nothing. I kept crying, saying, I don't have nothing. And one day my mama said, I don't know why you keep, she didn't say, I don't know. She said, stop saying that. You have your health, your husband, you have your children, you got a home, you got a whole lot. Stop saying you don't have nothing, because that's not true. And she was right. She was right. So anybody who, just could be going through anything, your story won't be the same as mine. But, I just send prayers and good vibes to everybody. And just know that when things start going all wrong, it's going to be okay. It's easier said, heard than understood, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Because I've been there. And I really am excited about the future, because I know that after going through all of that, things can be worse. Things can be worse. But God has really blessed me with, my husband is great. I get on his nerves. I think I get on his reserve nerves sometimes, but he take good care of us. And I mean, I just was blessed with a great husband, our children, my parents. My mama don't like when I do this, but I tell people all the time, my mama is one of the sweetest, most caring people. And I tell them, and she not just like that in public, she really is like that in real life. Even when, even when I know I've been getting on her nerves, because I'm more snappy than her. So I could be snappy sometimes, and she'll just let me talk sometimes. And sometimes she'll, be like, okay, but she not gonna, she really, like how you see her on here, that really is how she is. And I tell people that all the time. And so I'm just grateful to God for her. She instilled God in me, the word of God in me. And I know this is not like a church program, but I just, I can't go without saying that. And if you know me, I could talk. So I'm just gonna, okay, y'all, I'm done.
Moretta, I have goosebumps just listening to you, because it resonates with me. Mm-hmm. Because you know a little bit about me. In 2002, I had cancer. And in 2004, I changed jobs. And in 2007, after changing jobs, I was diagnosed with another autoimmune disease. And as Moretta knows, when you have one autoimmune disease, you usually have several. And
hey, you don't see it? This lecture.
Anyway,
yeah,
I really,
you don't see it?
When I retired in 2007, when I got so sick in 2007, Vicky, I thought, what am I going to do?
I sent it to you. You don't see it?
And
see it yet. Okay, I'm gonna get Jackie to resend it. Okay.
You sent it through.
I sent it to that email.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was going to do.
Zoom. Let me get Jackie to send it to you again.
Okay. All right.
Maybe I sent it wrong.
Sorry.
The link. Okay. All right.
But what who am I sending this to?
You're sending it to Vicky. I'm gonna send you her email. She's trying to join, but I tried to send it. But I'm gonna send her email to you. Thank you.
All right. All right.
Thank you, Moretta, for coming on. Thank you, Danielle, for tuning in, because what Moretta was saying. It's like this. You guys are just awesome all the way around, because you too, Danielle, walked away from a situation. I sent it to you, Jackie. You walked away from a situation, and your situation was just as crazy, but you stepped out on faith. I want to say tonight to you guys, let me turn these headphones right. Okay. I want to say to y'all, and I say this all the time, you guys inspired me. Y'all inspired me. Y'all have children that you are inspiring. My thing is, never give up on people. Never give up on people. We too quick to give up on people. because sometimes your strength is the only strength that they have, your strength. And so when they see you in such a state of mind, like my world is always falling to pieces, but they watching God bless you because you got something that they wish they had. Some people just want some peace. Some people just want somebody to care about them. Some people just need a roof over their head. Some people, they just need some kind of car. They ain't got nothing. They riding a bike or they walking. And what you are saying tonight, it all goes back to the impossible. And God turns it around to the possible. See, I went through some things in my life that I never want to see y'all go through. And for God to let me live and see two young women, I'm telling you the truth, two young women grow into the person that they desire to be. When I growed up, you were somewhat afraid. You was afraid. You just wanted to do what made your parents happy. And that was all you done. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what y'all say. I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. Let me tell y'all something. I see your hand up, Rep. I just need to say this right quick.
I was like, I don't know how to take it off.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I see it up. I just want to say this. Y'all's babies,
Come on in.
whether y'all know it or not, y'all's babies, you guys are the greatest thing that they know in life. I'm telling you. You guys are the greatest thing that your children know. Because when the world is unraveling, when they look at, oh, but mama still here, that gives them hope. Never forget that. Go ahead, hands up.
Okay. Oh no, look, I was trying to say this while you was talking, but I wanted to tell Danielle, even though she already know it, that my mama literally do be talking about you all the time.
I know.
And she do. She be like, she'll say, Bretta and Danielle, like she really do.
I
And
know.
sometimes I be like, them people don't even know Danielle. But Danielle, you know how she is. She just gonna make you know somebody.
Yes.
The people don't even know her. And the only reason they know me is because I'm her daughter. And she just but she persistent. But no, I wanted to say that. She do. She forever
She
be
do.
forever.
Oh, I know.
And I have heard all the time about her two daughters, and I was like, I only got one. And finally, Danielle, now I get it. Now I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What's going on with Vicky?
She just muted.
She's got her, just her.
I'm here.
Yeah, there
I'm
you are.
here.
Okay. Oh, we don't see you. We just see the picture. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. Well,
You getting over
can
COVID.
I-
Vicky's getting over COVID.
Can I finish what I was
Yeah.
telling you guys?
Mhm.
Mhm.
I was telling you guys how I changed jobs and then I had to retire, right? But where I'm getting at is all the way back in high school, when I had the choice to take an elective, I took creative writing because I've always wanted to be a writer. And I've always, dabbled poetry and this and that and whatever. But I never thought that I could ever actually do it because, how was I going to live? I mean, unless you're, Stephen King or somebody like that makes a lot of money, how are you going to live off what you write? And then I was not on the 5-year college plan. I was on the 30-year college plan. And so I finally graduated with my bachelor's degree in creative writing. Although I still didn't have a clue what I was going to do. And then I was working as an academic advisor at a 4-year college at the time, and I discovered that I loved it. And so I moved over to a 2-year college as an academic advisor, and I I loved it, but I still wanted to be a writer. And there was just no time. But, you know, I just kept telling myself one of these days, and then I got sick. And I was like, I got sick. I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? You know, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm going to tell you, yes, was I able to get a little bit of funds to, I had an insurance policy, I have Social Security, disability. I had those things that could support me while I wrote, while I became a writer. And I would never have taken that plunge into being a real writer who actually publishes books if I had not gotten sick and had enough health left in me still to write.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it because I was always, like Moretta saying, she was exhausted all the time. I didn't know I was sick. I was just exhausted all the time. I already knew when I was 23, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory bowel disease. It's also an autoimmune disease. And but as the years were passing, I was more and more exhausted. So exhausted that I could not take I would come home from work every day and just go to sleep until I had to get up and go to school, go to work in the morning. And but
call you back. My husband been sick, we've been in the emergency room.
Anyway.
I don't realize.
She doesn't realize that
That's
we're
okay.
hearing that. Yeah, that's okay. But anyway,
I'm at home.
I just want to tell you, Maria, I know what you're, because I would have never
Can I
thought
call
that
you
was
as
possible.
soon as I get
Ever.
off? I'm gonna call you.
But it,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it is possible. God made it possible for me. And I've only published 4 novels at this point, but because of
a big accomplishment.
it is a big, well, and I never think about how big of an accomplishment it is because due to the insurance policy that I have, I'm not allowed to earn a penny, not a penny until I turn 65. Well, guess what? That's creeping up closer and closer and closer. And I've got 20 novels ready to be published when I turn 65.
That's good because I haven't wrote not one.
You know, but you haven't wrote not one, but listen, Loretta, you have got a spa. You know, you are helping people regain their sense of self, their sense of beauty. I think that's amazing and wonderful. You would never have been able to accomplish that if you had been sticking to that corporate job that you had, a government job. Just like I would never have been able, and now I do all kinds of things I never would have done if I had just kept. I work with Electra on this podcast. I love it. I tutor. I'm tutoring some Afghan students right now who are working on getting their GEDs. I have a student that I just finished tutoring, and I don't want to call it tutoring. I'm going to call it more mentoring with her, helping her get her study skills down and get her writing skills down because she just graduated with her master's degree. And I would never have done these things if I was still just struggling to get through every day at that job and go home and go to sleep until the next day. And that's all I could do. But I write every day. I talk to people every day. And I am not living, I'm not in misery. I mean, you know, I thought when I first lost my job, when I first had to retire, when I couldn't work anymore, I thought, you know, I'm just going to be sitting in the dark all the time because what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, God knew what he wanted me to do. And he made a way for me to do it. I had to lose something for it to happen. Let it happen.
It happened.
Anyway, that's what that's my impossible to possible story.
But that's all right. That's an amazing story. Jackie, Danielle or Vicky, y'all want to share something? Your impossible, how you left from that to your possible?
Oh, I tuned in like in the middle of Moretta talking.
Yeah.
And me and Moretta's story is pretty similar.
Yeah.
Except for in my case, I was kind of and I think then that aspect I relate more to Jackie, because I think I remember I heard Moretta say this, that sometimes things have to fall apart to come together, basically.
Mhm.
And that's how it was with me, where Moretta was having issues with her health. For me, it was on the job. Like, I had been at a job, and that was the longest job I had worked at in like my adult life. And things just started going awry. Like, it was just
Yeah.
conflict
Mhm.
with me and my superiors. And if you know me in real life, you know, I don't really take too much.
Mm-mm. You
If
don't.
it's something I don't want to do, I'm very big on fairness. So if it's something that I feel like I'm being asked to do that's unfair, I'm not going to do it.
Mhm.
But that just set off a lot of issues with my job. And like Jackie mentioned, at the time, I ended up getting put on probation at this job. And at the time, I thought, like, I was like, oh my God, if I lose this job, I'm out here by myself. It's just me and my baby. I don't have a husband. I don't have family here. I mean, my daughter's dad helps with her, but we not together. So I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna feed my kid if these people fire me? But with that happening, it completely changed my view of a job. Like, I
Yeah.
have not looked at jobs the same since, because it made me realize how disloyal they are. And I remember thinking when I'm trying to like not tell the long version of what happened at this job. But when I got ambushed by them for them to tell me that I was on probation, the only thing that I thought about, I honestly wasn't even thinking about the job as per se. The only thing was on my mind was my child. And
Yes.
that, like, made me mad, like extremely mad. And at the same time, it motivated me. Because I remember when I walked out that office, my only thought was never again. I will never have somebody else determine how me and my kid eat. If I'm never going to have somebody else that I can literally walk in here and tomorrow I don't know how I'm going to pay a bill. Never.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that fire has burned in me ever since.
Mhm.
And also similar to Moretta, what Moretta was saying about she got led into skincare because of her skin. It was kind of the same thing with me. So I do eyebrows. I don't think I said that. I've just always done my own eyebrows, and it was something I never thought about. I never would have considered that a talent or nothing like that. It was just something that I could do and I could do well. And that was kind of where I left it. So, but that's the very avenue that God saw fit for me to go through to be able to be where I'm at now.
Mhm.
And I say that all the time. If you would have asked me then, well, somebody would have came and told me then that I was going to be doing what I do now, I would have been like, how? Like Jackie said, like, how I'm supposed to make money doing people eyebrows? Like, what? That's like $10-15 here and there, huh? So, but I actually make more money than when I worked in corporate America. I have my own salon. I work between here in my hometown. And that's not to say that I still don't deal with impossible things, but I will say that that experience in I didn't get pushed out of my job like some people into entrepreneurship. I left voluntarily.
Mhm.
Um, but taking that leap of faith was like the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. And that was also something that was going from impossible to possible, because I'm somebody that's used to going to work and I like having stability. And when you work for yourself, stability is the first thing that goes out the door.
For real.
Like, you are unstable every day. So like some days you feel like, yes, I got this, and other days you are on a ledge. So
yeah.
that was a risk I was willing to take. But making that change showed me too that fear really is just a myth. I don't really deal with fear. It's not very much that I'm afraid of anymore after going through that process. And I think a large part of what I was fearful of was that I could make it. And I left my job over a year ago. So I was like, that was part of the fear. So that's part of the impossible part. So I felt like I guess I had to prove to me that it was possible for me to still have stability to some degree on my own.
Yes,
So
yes.
and like Moretta said, the biggest thing for me goes back to my daughter. I love being able to take my daughter to school and pick her up from school and go to her swimming, like that stuff. And it's especially special to me because my mom was a single mom. So my mom never got to do any of that stuff with me and my siblings. And that's something that honestly, it still affects me to this day. That I'm like, well, I wanted my mama to play. And so like, I want to be a present parent to my child. And the only thing that was standing in the way of that was my jobs. It was a job telling me that I couldn't leave an hour early or do whatever. And I got tired of that. So yeah, I'm like, and I started my business way back in 2018 when all of this happened with my job, and I'm just now seeing things come into fruition. So that's too, it's like a part of holding on and being patient for God to reveal the possibilities to you, because it might not happen when you want it to or when you think it should. So like Jackie, your book's gonna be bestsellers.
Vicky, you got anything?
You're all gonna buy copies and tell your friends.
Yeah.
Vicky.
Hey everyone, yeah, good evening. I cannot take that off. I do apologize, but yeah, it made me think about when this young lady was talking how I got divorced in 2017, and I was fearful of so many years, being married and depending on my husband to do everything. And then when that day, I apologize, y'all, I have a little 2-year-old. That day when I'm sorry. Hold on. Come on. Look, shh, we on TV. We're on TV. Look, you see him? We on TV. So that day when I got divorced, I decided, that day when I got divorced, it was like an aha moment. And I had to really, it hit home with me that, yeah, let me talk, then you can talk, okay?
Hey.
Hey.
Everybody, hey.
He say, everybody, hey.
Hey.
So I had to realize that I had to start on my own, depending on myself, because I didn't have that second leg to depend on. And it was very scary for me after 30 years. It was very scary, but it also gave me a push to get my degrees. So it gave me a push to get my associate, gave me a push to get my bachelor's degree, and now I'm heading toward my master's degree. So all these little pushes, it really gave me a push to know that I can do it. I can do anything. Anything is possible. And after that push, and I got my associates, then I got my bachelor's back to back. And now I'm just kind of coasting into my master's. But it also gave me a sense of release to start my own side business now. I am an artist. I love to draw and paint. So I done really appreciate myself more, because I had to find myself, who I was, because I was walking in the shadows of someone else, and pleasing everybody else instead of really figuring out who I was. And also today, I'm gonna speed it on up because of the little boy here, but I'm gonna speed it on up. I have my own personal business where I teach and coach mental health, parenting skills, anger management, and the list goes on. So I'm like out here and I'm doing it on the wing and a prayer, but also I still have that little touch of fear in my heart, but I just have to push it aside and say, you know what, Vicky, God has never left you. He has been here all along, every step of the way. And I know I have to cast that down out of my mind because that's the trick of the enemy, the fear and thinking that I'm not going to make it. So I just push every day I'm pushing, including in the parenting classes, anger management, mental health classes. I'm steady pushing because I'm just like, I realize I'm one step away from being in a nut house, if people want to say that. I'm one step away of losing my mind. I'm one step away of being homeless. So I have to keep that in my mind to never get high-minded, in situations, but just meet them at their level in understanding. So I'm enjoying every step of the way that God is directing me into different paths and to meet new people. So that's my story, y'all.
Yes, that's
Thank you.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Electra.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. I'm so happy that everybody came on tonight. But we at the end of the Hot Topics show for tonight. But Moretta, thank you. We passed the mic to you. You did a wonderful job. Anytime y'all want to, what we're now doing is pass the mic. And so we started with Reverend King, and then we had the candidate who came on Monday for the well, we didn't do the Pastor Mike with him. Pastor Mike, we fade into the background and give you the entire stage, and then you come back once you cue us, and we come back in, and then we, everybody's back on screen. But Pastor Mike puts you in it's a moment of putting you in the spotlight. So if, Danielle or Vicky, if one of y'all want to just, one night you want to just talk about something, and we can go from there with it and elaborate, like Retta started out, moving from impossible to possible, and then we came in, and then it became a full dialogue. That's the same thing that would happen. You want to come on with something, just let me know, and then I'll put the subject title to it, and then that Friday when we come up, we will pass the mic. You on there, you got 20-25 minutes, and then we come back in. So it's really working really good because it gives you that spotlight to put your information out there, and it's a good thing. And then see your information being built on. So I want to say that before we say good night, but I want to say this, and I want y'all to remember this. Those of us who have kids, who have grandkids, and Jackie, her kids got 4 legs. But the thing about it, they still her kids because she loves her dog and her cats. I'm going to say this to y'all because it's like God just put that on my heart to say. As a mother, as a grandmother, don't y'all never forget this. If you don't remember nothing else, those who are coming up under your care, and Vicky she's taking on her nephew like her own child. You're the greatest thing that ever happened in their life. You have to keep it together, because the only reason that they believe that they can make it is because they see you. That's the only reason why they feel like they can make it. Because in their eyes, I don't have my mom and I don't have my dad. And it's painful at times because you do things and you say, man, I wish my mom was here to see this. I remember when my dad told me such and such. Your kids gonna mess up. They're gonna do things because they're not perfect. Like, you're not perfect, but you got to remember, You are the greatest that they ever gonna see. You all the great. They, you know, you got the Michelle Obamas and the Beyoncés and all these people, but that don't matter to your children. What matters is my mama name is Moretta. My mama name is Danielle. My mama name is Vicky. My mama name is Jackie. My mama name is Electra. That's all they know. So that point, when you get to a point, you feel fear coming in, or you feel loneliness, or you feel confusion, or whatever you feel, remember, it's possible because you are making somebody else that are at a point of impossible right now. Because of you, they can see the possible. Every day they wake up, they can see the possible. So with that, I'm gonna close out. Jackie, you didn't have anything?
Nope.
You know, and because you gotta go feed your puppies and your cat, right? You got to go do that.
I do.
Okay. So we gonna call it a night. Remember, Hot Topics every other Friday. And hey, if you want us to pass the mic, we'll do that, won't we, Jackie?
We will. Y'all
didn't have nothing to say right
Thanks for
quick,
coming
huh?
on, everybody.
Did y'all have something to say right quick? All right. Good night.
All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you for everything.
Bye.
So
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Yes.